episode 479 of the Working Class Bowhunter Podcast.
Are you sure?
Yeah, my notes say here, and my notes are never wrong if I read them. Never.
Questionable.
That checks out.
Oh, fuck, I can't read my... It's 479. That's
okay.
It's like, sorry, I actually use a mechanical pencil to write my notes, so in case I fuck up, I can erase them and then make them right. So that's how I know they're never wrong. Welcome to the podcast, Working Class Bowhunter, presented by Elite Archery. I want to say something real quick while thinking about it. I didn't think about it on the previous episode when we did this. Everyone's freaking out about like the bow companies backing out of ATA. Mm-hmm. And I called Elite and I'm like, well, it's because of COVID? And they're like, no, think about this. And they broke it down for me. So right now, super high order volume.
Yep.
So a lot of people don't realize it's really expensive, like really expensive for a lot of these companies to go to ATA. So they are pulling workers from filling orders and other parts in the offices from Elite to work the show, which costs them money anyway. So then it sets them behind. And then apparently dealer surveys were saying that a high percentage of the dealers were not going to attend ATA this year. Therefore, it means not a lot of money coming in on new orders when they have a ton of pre-existing orders made out already.
Right.
Doesn't make much sense.
But they do support the ATA 100%. And it's a business decision, not a mask, mandate, vaccine, political decision, which to me makes sense. I get it. It's a bummer, but I get it.
Yep.
It is what it is.
You know?
That's right.
But we'll be there. As long as the show's going, we'll be there. But
just us.
Just us. We'll be the only guys there. If they cancel the show,
I'll see you guys at the bar, I guess.
We'll be at the bar.
We can go to the bar and chant, "Let's go, Brandon."
Yeah, we'll do that. Elite Archery.
Oh, I get it now.
The podcast also brought to you by Big Tine. So code for Elite Archery, WCB, Big Tine, code WCB 2021. Spy Point, Rogue Ridge, Scent Crusher, Old Barn Taxidermy, Novix, Leupold Optics. Mm-hmm. I'm just running through them because it's hunting season, man. Like, and we've been doing some more detailed ads.
We got to get to the goods.
Yeah, get to the goods. Combination Creative, if you guys need logos made, website work made, video work, photography, anything like that, Jordan's a killer. Tell him Working Class sent you. Also brought to you by ISOtunes. Yep. ISOtunes Sport, more specifically. Been wearing them. Was wearing them mowing. Awesome Bluetooth. I got XM radio, so I can listen through that, or Spotify if you're listening to podcasts while you mow. It's killer.
I also do The Office all the time.
And it's code WCB10 for ISOtunes Sport.
Motherfucking 10.
That's right.
10.
Thank you guys for supporting our sponsors. Doug, you got a veteran shout out pulled out?
I do. Here it comes.
Okay, we're ready.
All right, we're been
Brought to you by Operation HHA USA. This one's submitted by Frank Cruz. The veteran is Ryan Anderson. He's in the United States Marine Corps. Says Ryan Anderson is Marine. Was my neighbor that I met in 2012 while stationed at MCRD San Diego. Or Santiago, some people say.
Okay.
Never heard it before, but I asked Ryan about the Matthews and Hoyt bow stickers on his truck. He took the time to mentor and teach me about archery and hunting and put me on my first deer at Camp Pendleton. He's currently a fishing guide in North Carolina. Look him up at AO Outdoors.
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks for submitting that, Frank, and thank you for your service, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool. I was expecting after the previous one on the previous episode some more razzing of each other's buddies. So it's funny, like you get like a good respectable one.
Yeah.
And then like the one like 3-4 episodes ago, that one guy just ripped his buddy.
Busting the guy's balls.
He's pretty much a piece of shit. We think he was a cook.
Yeah, well that one, but the one like 3-4 episodes was rough.
Oh, it was rough, but it was hilarious.
Oh, it was so funny.
I don't think I caught that one.
Oh man, you gotta go back. I can't remember which episode
listen to
it
the
was.
podcast or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like tune in and give a shit about us for once.
Oh, how many episodes have you guys done?
4.
50, 50, 60?
34 or 40.
Oh, well, I've only missed a couple.
We're just getting started.
Yeah. Yep.
Start from the beginning.
Episode 479.
Jeez.
Let's get into it.
I'm Chase Rolfson with Rubline Marketing.
This is Jeff Lindsay. This is Michael Pitt. Hey, everybody, it's John Dudley from Knock on TV. Hey, guys, this is Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline.
Hi, I'm Taylor Drury from Drury Outdoors.
Hey, this is Nick Munt from Bone Collector.
Hey, this is Melissa Buckman.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast.
Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast. Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter. You're listening to the Working Class Bow Hunter. That's right. This is the podcast for Billy Joe Lunchbucket, the working man, just like me and you. My name's Travis T-Bone Turner from the Bone Collector. Thank you for tuning in.
Nobody pushes the envelope like Working Class Bow Hunter.
It's really, really not that good. Working Class. Working Class.
Well, boys, it's episode 479. Man, the 470s have been good, huh?
Yep,
Been real
that's right.
good.
Been real good to us. I mean, we had so many memories in the 470s.
That one time.
I mean, let's go
Yeah,
through them.
Good.
That one time that one guy was on, remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember when
Good
Judd was on?
Oh, man, Judd was so good.
That was a good one.
He was good, yeah.
Drink a
I
lot
mean,
of Mountain Dew.
We had so many memories, you know. We had Bucky with Measuring Deer, 471.
great guy.
Yep.
We had the Outdoor Drive podcast, was 470. That was fun, wasn't
Solid.
it? 472, Mark Drury. Man, what a good time.
Dude, great guy.
473, Sam Ubel from Chase Nation.
Great guy.
Great guy. 474, how could we forget the Alaska Moose podcast? It's
Oh, dude.
time.
Great dudes. Great
Good
dudes.
The Wyoming Mule Deer. Oh, man, what a fun episode.
Great deer. Great people. Great episode.
The Stolen Buck.
Outside of Curt, I mean,
Not so great people.
That's a great people.
What a douche.
Garrett was cool.
477, great times.
Oh, blast.
Great times. Good BS session, you know. And then
Great.
478 with Judd. Hey, Judd, you're still here, bud.
I'm here.
Hey,
What's up?
Judd.
You haven't
Hey,
left in a
back.
week.
You've been here for a week?
Casper, you haven't left for a week either.
Nope,
Dynamite's not getting us out.
same clothes I was
These
in when I
guys
came
can't
here.
take a message.
And Scotty Sullivan Scoot decided he just wanted to get in on this.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
We got a full table for no reason for this podcast.
For no reason.
reason at all.
It's going to be a little BS and big buck stories, I think, on this one. But yeah, the 470s, good times,
Good times.
right? We've never really recapped.
No, that was cool.
That
I
was
like
the first time we ever done that.
Maybe we'll make it a thing.
Maybe we'll go back to 370s next week.
Was that necessary? No, it wasn't.
Should we just make like the PowerPoint slides with the graduation song?
Each time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. A lot of fun, wasn't it?
No, it's a blast.
Well, we're here to talk more big bucks, which is exciting, especially for me on this one.
Yep.
No, real exciting.
The big buck episodes are rolling in. Judd kicked it off for the whitetail season here. Well, we've done some more, but that's the true. Actually, what's fun is the same day Judd killed his buck, I shot my buck. I think you might have shot yours just before mine, right?
I think so, yep.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because in Snapchat, we all have a Snapchat group.
Yep.
And I'm the worst Snapchatter ever. Like I can't keep up with them.
Oh, dude, it's hard to keep up.
Because what's wrong with me is I'll open them and click through them because I'm either hunting, so I don't hear anything that's going on. So if someone's telling a story, I miss it.
Yep.
And then I get confused because I'm like, I don't know. I suck at Snapchat.
It's hard to go back and read through everything because I just can't read them very well.
Yeah.
And
like-
you can't reply directly, so it's like it's just floating in the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So I just pay less attention. Mm-hmm. So anyway, you shot your buck on October 21st.
Yep.
I shot my buck on October 21st. Here we are. We're podcasting. It was a great day.
Hell yeah.
Good day. All right.
Fucking
day.
sick.
Thanks for tuning in.
Sick, bro.
When did we shoot our bucks, Eric? Doug, when did you shoot yours?
I shot mine November 6th.
That's my birthday.
Well, that's cool. But my buck's cooler.
I hope someone just kills on November 6th so it just
Yeah.
steals the spotlight from Clint.
I've killed the buck on November 6th before.
I've always wanted to kill one on my birthday.
Never have?
I've been so close. I've been to full draw 3 times and never fired an arrow yet.
Really?
Yep.
I remember November 6th. Well, it's great to know it's your birthday, but my buddy Tyler's, it's his birthday as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit. Nice. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
I'm just going to post a picture of like me with the deer saying happy birthday
To me.
I hope you
to
did.
Clint.
Killed your buck, bitch.
Bitch.
I lived, bitch.
But happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, kill John Buck, but happy birthday.
Man, I will tell you, this season I did last season too. Like I relied on DeerCast a lot. Like it helps you make up your mind. You're on the fence on where to go or like when to save your, I guess, burning out a spot or however you want to look at it. You know, putting the pressure in on a spot. DeerCast is rarely wrong, if ever. Like I feel like when it says good, it's good. You know,
It's scary.
it's well, we talked about it a lot. It's not Like
It's
they
not
just
smoke and mirrors.
Did you see that commercial they did for DeerCast with the crystal ball with Terry? You didn't see it? Okay. I saw that. I'm like, that's so perfect. Because it's like what we've been saying. It's not smoke and mirrors, but they do it where he's like a, what the hell they call it? Where you're like reading in a crystal ball.
Like a psychic?
Like a psychic, yeah. And it's like the guy trying to get a psychic reading, pretty much. And it's like,
I like that.
I don't know. I like that they did that because that's how I feel about it. Because you feel that way when you tell people about DeerCast, but then you don't really, like, I guess it's hard to be like, well, listen, this is like legit stuff that was put together by guys that are basically deer biologists.
Yeah.
Like through hunting.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they're this very niche biologist for exactly what you want to do with deer. So it's kind of easy to like, look, okay, it says good. The wind's good for me. It's all there. I'm going to go into the spot. That's what I did.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out, right?
Yeah, it did.
It's a real confidence booster.
It is. It honestly is because you're just like, gee whiz. You know, I killed last year my 2 bucks and even like the does and stuff. I was like, man, I wonder if like, you know, it says poor, I'm going to go anyway. And then every day that I killed it said good or great.
Good.
Mm-hmm. So it worked out.
Real good.
But all right, let's start talking about this buck a little bit and get the show on the road here. I called this buck Battle Axe. Actually, I didn't call him that at first. So
When did you call him that?
I started calling him Battle Axe last year. So I have pictures of him from 2019, and he was like a typical 10, I guess, to be high 50s, like 158, maybe 160 as a 10-pointer, you know, nice buck. Looked to be at least 4.5. Don't have a ton of pictures of him. I actually didn't even put cameras out in this particular location till like early January 2019 and got photos of him in like kind of like a random spot. A spot I just honestly just threw a camera up just to see.
Yeah.
Just for shits and grins.
Because I just think it's fun to do that, you know.
Right.
Because you can let a camera simmer and then come back and just learn about it. Like, and you click through the slideshow, you kind of like learn about like the timeline from when you hung the camera or whatever. So he's on there, and yeah, right around 160, high 50s as a 10, nice clean 10. Which I'm like, wow, that's a cool buck, you know. And at that point, I'm like, maybe I'll find his sheds. Do you know what I mean? That never happened, but
Never found him.
So what I noticed
didn't.
about him is he, by the way, one of the neighbor guys that hunts by where I got these pictures that year had saw him in 2019 standing in a bean field and took a picture of him. Like his car light shined him as he was turning, and he stopped and snapped a quick picture. And it's kind of cool because he's way off. You can just tell his big frame body. Yep. Actually, another story, 2019, I was driving not far from where I hunt, and he cut in front of me from one ditch into the other and stopped in the ditch. Like I didn't almost hit him, but it was like I was going slow. I was cruising, it was gravel, you know, and it just felt bucky. So I'm kind of like looking for deer as I'm driving down the gravel road. And
You don't plan on looking in front of you.
well, what was cool about it is like I wasn't going fast, so he like jumped across the road, and then I stopped, and then he like stood in the ditch, and I can see him kind of like scanning, and then he dove off into the corn. So it's like, that was cool. So the neighbor guy called him, what did he name him? Bowser, some silly name. I don't know why, but I'm like okay.
From Mario?
I had a dog named Bowser.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I had named this deer Bowser, but I noticed like he had missing a chunk of his left ear. And then the following year, how I knew it was him because he looked dressed. He was the same frame, typical frame, but with junk.
Oh, okay.
Lots of junk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And but I knew him from the ear, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like I wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together. Would have been for the ear. And I'm like, I guess it's the same buck. He just looks junkier, and so that's why I called him Battle Axe because of his ear, and he just kind of looked rough, and you could tell he was just kind of an old buck, and had pictures of him, fairly consistent, but honestly didn't really put a lot of hunting pressure on him. Really not much. I tagged out pretty early last season, and just wasn't in the cards, you know.
And every season before that.
Well, I didn't tag out. That's last year's the first season I tagged out early.
Didn't you do one before?
Yeah, I tagged out before, but I didn't kill creepy till like mid-December.
Let's just brag about it. You know what I mean?
He does it every
Shotgun
year.
season, right?
Yeah, I killed him during second shotgun season.
Yeah.
So not mid-December, but like just the 12th or 13th or something like that, right in there. So anyway, I just didn't hunt him last year or anything like that, but I called him Battle Axe and have a bunch of trail cam pictures of him. He just is cool. And then I had some pictures of him in early late February or early March, and he shed, and it's like midday, and I could tell because it's like an up close picture. And I lost the photo, which I'm bummed about. You can see his ear's gone, like part of his ear's gone, so I know it's him. And you can see the big, like, bare pedicles where it's shed.
Red still.
And he just looks worn out.
Just beat.
Like, I was like, oh, man, he might not make it. Like, he looks tired. Just, he'd had enough. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that looks like an old dog, like, on his last leg, if I've ever seen one. You know what I mean? You just know that look, like an old animal who's not having a great time.
Yep.
And so I was honestly, that's the last picture I had of him or knew that I had paid attention to, I guess. I'm not saying I didn't have other pictures, but
God, a shed couldn't have been too far away.
I was gonna say,
I looked fucking
That's what I was just getting
I
ready to
remember when you
say.
got that picture and you're like, I'm going in there tomorrow. I got to find these things.
No one ever found them?
looked everywhere.
Nobody that you know has them?
Somebody might have them.
Hell, they might still be laying there.
It's me.
They could be.
Scotty's got them.
Scotty.
Hi, Scotty.
I mean,
The fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I honestly,
Why didn't you tell us?
Find them yourself.
I know there's other hunters.
You would have think you would have heard, though, because that's a pretty big set.
I looked everywhere.
Because that's when you had all the junk on, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Junk in the trunk.
I think where this deer spent a lot of his time was in a lot of hedge area.
Yep.
And it's just, I looked through it and it's just a motherfucker to walk through.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, where I have pictures of him in 2019 to where I have pictures of him shed is not close to each other. And this farm and another parcel I can hunt nearby, I have pictures of him on both places. And it was like, what does this deer do? Like, he's just all over the place.
He's just a traveler.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. But all I know is
a gypsy.
When I'm thinking about okay, where do I have pictures of him? Where could his sheds be? And then I draw pictures on maps. I'm just like, yeah, anywhere within 5 square miles. But I look.
Good luck.
When I'm telling you, I looked and looked and looked.
It was eating at you.
It'd be cool to find them. You know they're laying there.
Yep.
That's what kills me.
They're
It's like,
just laying there.
there's just a squirrel just chewing off a G2 somewhere.
Just
Eating
living the
kickers
dream.
off.
Yeah, just living the dream.
He lived all spring and summer off that.
Yep.
I'll guarantee there's probably still
Probably
some
had,
left.
probably had a couple parties on it.
He's got the strong bones now.
Yeah.
Party squirrel.
So, so honestly, I thought he maybe have died. Just 'cause he looks so rough. Like, you know, they're tough animals. Survival's their game, but you just do when you see, like, dude, he looked like shit.
Yeah, it's
Especially
amazing
with-
how
especially with-
close you can get to a buck when they're at that stage right after they shed. They're
Yeah.
They know that they've gotten rid of whatever you're interested in.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten like 20 feet from a buck that just shed, and he's like, I know you're not after me anymore.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
They're like
Hey, buddy,
lackadaisical.
they're not here.
They're not here. They're
It's
over
almost
there.
like it's built into their DNA over like the hundreds and hundreds of years we've been hunting them, or thousands of years. I don't know timelines, but you know, I didn't pay attention to that part in school. I know they talked a lot about timelines of World War II or whatever, but
That's why you don't hunt 20 foot in a tree anymore, because they look up.
yeah, deer,
To the
yeah,
DNA.
they're born to look up. Yeah.
That's why you
Walking
only,
around
you only
everywhere.
need one stick.
Yeah. One stick, maybe an aider, just the aider.
Two sticks, Scotty.
just an aider. Just screw it right to the tree.
Bring out a DeWalt drill. Just screw the fuck
Scotty's got he's got his impact out there. Just
Scotty gets in a hot tub, immediately just gets 2 sticks high to hunt bucks out of.
Oh, Jesus.
He's trying to use a stud finder.
Oh, boy.
get the screw in. Beep, 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 beep.
We are the dumbest podcast in all of the outdoors.
Facts.
And we're proud of that.
Hey, listen,
Anyway,
dude, it takes a lot of effort to be this dumb.
Not really.
it just comes natural for me.
Go work
And to be
construction.
consistent at it.
Yeah. So
We get this every episode.
coming into this fall's season of 21, I'm like, okay, cool. I'll put some trail cams up. We'll see if we can't find Battle Axe. Hopefully he lived. Whatever.
I say, did you even think he was going to be alive?
Honestly, if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, I don't know. Like, I would think if he was alive, we'd have a picture of him.
Right.
Honestly, I just was concerned a little bit. He would have been, I knew he was big. I knew he was 5.5 for sure last year. What I'm thinking makes him 6.5 this year or older. And I was like, man, perfect buck. He's mature. He's probably going downhill. I don't know. And so no pictures all summer. Get into fall, no pictures. Got to have some other good deer, and none of him. Like, I'm looking for the ear. I'm looking for characteristics. Nothing. Can't find anything. So I kind of was just like, maybe he'll show up. We'll see. Season's still young, So coming into like October 20th, 21st, I get into one of my spots that I feel is one of my best spots I probably have a stand in. High opportunity spot on the right wind, just because of like the transition area that it is.
Just slicker and shit.
Slicker and shit. And I set it up to where I can whip the Rogue Ridge out of my truck, hop on that baby,
skeeter skate in there,
and zoom in on there, dude. It's
hey, hit it.
Hey, it's like the magic carpet.
That's Curt on his bike right there.
That's all deer here when they're bedded. They're bedding in a ditch. They're like, "What was that?"
You hide your bike a little bit too, don't you?
Yeah, I try.
I'm just throw it in a creek bed.
I'm experimenting with it. So honestly,
just ghost rides it into a creek.
I'm not kidding. I think that Rogue Ridge was a major factor in killing this deer.
Yeah,
I really do, because, and I'll get to this, but dude, it's crazy how quiet it is.
It's super quiet,
and I quiet it down even more. Like, a lot of people probably leave the front fender on so they don't get blasted with just water and all that.
It makes some noise.
I took it off, and I run bungees. You don't have to do this, but it's pretty rough terrain where I'm riding, and I haul ass, not gonna lie. So I take
I like
bungee.
to go fast.
I like to go fast. So I take bungees and bungee the kickstand up to the luggage rack, and then I have like a fanny pack on the back. But anyway, I really think like that had a major factor in killing this deer, because what I found out is I probably didn't ride that far from him where he was bedded, but it just makes a different noise.
Yeah,
and it's like you're just rolling through. It's almost like it's equipment if they do see you.
Sure,
like the way you're cruising through, you're moving fast. You're not walking like a human.
You're not posing a threat.
You're not. Yeah, it's 4-wheeler-esque, but
less invasive.
There's less invasive, and there's a good chance that the deer might not even know you came through.
Right.
And you're not physically touching the ground. That's why I call it my magic carpet.
That's huge.
So you come through that fucking button, dude. Put tape over that thing.
Let me swat your hand every time you reach for it.
So what I did, so I got down in, I have like a little path where I tuck my bike into, and then what I do is I always I roll it in. I grab the seat and I kind of just roll it into the brush and lay it down real quiet. Get off, unhook my bow from my backpack, and then this spot goes down. And I walk through a creek to get in this stand, so it's just real low, like kind of like what you were talking about with your stand, Jed.
Yeah.
Real. It just feels minimally invasive,
stealthy.
If the wind's good, it's money. So I'm sitting in. So I'm talking about all this big game. I'm sitting there, haven't seen a deer yet, and the wind is like kind of changing on me a little bit and getting questionable. I'm like, okay, now I'm playing a whiskey wind. That's okay though.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there, and when I'm sitting in the stand, I have a shooting lane straight in front of me. I have a shooting lane straight to my left. Everything to my right, I can't really see until I could see through it if they were right down in there. And then I have a pocket on the hill to the right of me.
You can see through enough where if they're coming through, you can get ready.
When I say pocket, it's probably like a 3-foot hole.
Right.
And like the deer couldn't see me back through the pocket if they're up on the hill. So it's my little like binos glassing spot. I'm sitting in the stand. I need to get the deer blowing noise on the soundboard.
Oh, don't do that.
That'd be money.
Fucking piss people
Karen
off.
on there.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
I'll have nightmares.
So I'm sitting there and I hear that noise. First time a deer is blown at me this year. And I'm like, fuck, son of a bitch. I'm like, well,
time to kill.
That sounded like a buck. Because you know how you can sound, and it was just once.
Yeah.
And typically I'm like, nah, it's a deer that normally blows and gets out of there. So I'm like, all right, son of a bitch. Look up in my pocket off to the right.
Not in your actual pocket.
Not my pocket I can see through. I see big body. Put the Leupolds up, swing, shine up there. Big old buck making a scrape. And I'm like, okay, he forgot about me already because he's making a scrape.
Yeah.
So he blew at me. And what I think is like he might have just caught a little wind of me and then maybe he just didn't know for sure. Or he was just in the right mindset, went back to making a fucking scrape. I don't know. I glass him up. I'm like, whoa.
Hello.
I don't know that buck.
Who are you?
And I messaged the OGs and I'm like, I just saw so he made that and then he walked straight away from me and kind of curved around the bend the way the timber cuts. And I'm like, wow, that buck was all G2s, all 3s. I texted the group, like, I just saw an 8-pointer that if he was a 10, the 8-pointer's got to be 160. If he's a 10, he's 170.
170's easy.
And I'm like, whoa, that was a nice buck. I don't know who he is. I don't have any pictures of that deer. Wasn't even thinking about battle axe in this time because didn't look like him. He didn't have the same junk. So I'm like, interesting. So sitting there about a half hour later on upwind side of me, there's like a path that cuts through the timber. I see 3 does pop out and they cut out on this path and they're kind of feeding on the path. And I have like a little big tine buck brunch plot down in the bottom of the woods. And they come out and they start milling up and going north. And they're kind of like looking behind them. And I'm like, there's another deer in there.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, I'm like, there's for sure another deer in there. But I didn't expect him to come around because he went the other way. Yeah. So I'm sitting there and it's like, wow, taking a minute. Those deer worked their way up. Boom, here he comes, pops out on the path. He's 100 some yards from me. I'm like, oh shit, look at that guy. There he is. And he cuts in. He's like checking the does, like he's going to go up with the does.
You knew it was the same buck from before?
I was pretty sure, yeah. Like, in the moment, I'm just like, shooter or not. Because I'm trying to like hold out. I want to kill like a big buck, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, I think I'm going to kill that deer. So I get out. I have one of the old Mad. It was my dad's actually, the Mad Growl.
Buck growl.
Buck growl.
Yep.
And I just did one grunt.
One little toot.
And just let it simmer on him. And he stopped and he kind of fed around. And I'm like, all right. And he started to get like relaxed, like he's going to keep going. One more. Just one, you know, after that. And then turns around, starts making a scrape. And at this time, I can see his right side with his 2, his 3, his 4. And I'm looking at him through my binos as he's like making a scrape with his head. I'm like, oh shit, that's a dark rack, tall time sucker, you know? So I'm like, all right, he's going to come in. He's pissed. So
he's pissed.
I'm bougie when I hang my tree stand. So I always have like the bow hanger that you can just like reach up and grab and not have to like do all this crazy shit. And he's coming down a hill straight at me. So he couldn't see me, but it feels like if you make the wrong move, he's going to be like, whoa, and look up at you.
Yeah.
So he's coming down. At this point, he's entering my food plot. So I grab my bow, I clip on. He goes into the way the food plot's shaped. It's like 2 bulbs and it pinches down. It's kind of weird. I designed it that way so they'd have to pinch down. Gets into the buck brunch. He's milling around and he kind of like turns around facing back up the way he came. But he's kind of, it's weird. He was like acting like he was pissed, but then he was like, I'm going to eat a little bit too. So I'm like,
I'm pissed, but I'm still a little hungry.
You can't be pissed on an empty stomach, you know?
Yeah, we call that a Ross buck.
He's not going to kick someone's ass
and it might
on an empty stomach.
It might have just felt so like more intense because I'm like, all right, what are you doing? Like, are you coming in here? Then he acted like he was going to cut over the other way and I wasn't going to get a shot. So he's in and out of my shooting line. Well, then he turns around. He's facing directly away. I pick up my Leupold, range him, click 33 yards, quartering away. Would have been money. So I draw. I'm anchored on him. I'm waiting for him to just angle a little more, and I was just going to sink it behind the last rib. 180s comes right back down to me. So I'm like, God, hey,
fuck.
So I let down, roll it back to 20, wait, and I have like this little pinch point area where he starts cutting in. I draw, get in, and now he's cutting where he's getting close to downwind. So I always do the, just because it doesn't feel as like spooky to him.
Yeah.
And he stopped, and I just put it on him, let it go. And you know when you shoot a deer and you watch the arrow go where you want, and you just go,
money.
That's how I felt. Dude. That's what it was.
Cha-ching.
So he runs off, and it's like just
you can hit it now.
Yeah, hit your button.
Sorry,
that was Kurt's arrow going into his butt.
Yeah. Just yes.
Ow! Fucking fast, boy.
Fast boy.
Fast boy. That's a fuck boy.
So where he ran, he runs through that little section, and then it's woods again. But there's a path there in the woods that is it's a mowed path through the timber, but it's just like tall grass. There's like it's not CRP, it's not like timber brush, it's just grass.
It's just grass.
So you can't hear anything. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm pretty sure I just smoked that buck. Felt like it, you know, but you never know, something weird could happen. And so I'm doing the text and stuff, and I'm listening, and I'm like, man, if he fell, I couldn't hear him. I'm sitting there like 5 minutes later, I hear like a gurgling. So I'm like, okay, he's dying. I took out his lungs. Like he just, you know, they try to breathe, they can't.
Bubbling.
So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay, well, he's got to be dead. Well, I had to go that way to get out. So what I did was I got down real quiet, no light, and it's still fairly daylight, but I'm losing it. So I'm going to get down and just look at my arrow, and then I'm going to figure out a way to slip out of here. So I look at my arrow and it's full of shit. Just like poop shit.
Like actual shit.
So I'm like, oh fuck, he must have been quartering way harder than I thought, but the entry, you couldn't have placed the entry any better, you know? So I'm like, all right. Well, I heard him gurgling, so like it didn't seem that far away. So I would think he's dead. Mm-hmm. So where I shot him, I just walked on the grass. It's real quiet. I'm like, I'm just gonna go up and see if I can see any blood, mark it, and then try to go back around. I get to this point, it's this little like over a culvert area. Mm-hmm. I get to the end of the culvert. I'm going real quiet, and I got my binos out, and I'm like looking in the grass around to see if he's like laying in the grass with his head up or whatever. I get to the end of this culvert area where it opens up, and there's like woods off to my left and just the grass, regular grass path there. And I look over when I get out, and he's just laying in the grass like dead,
just taking a nap.
Done. I'm not kidding. It's the shortest a deer has ever ran, and giving him credit, he went 25 yards.
No shit.
Giving him credit.
Wow.
Like I'm not kidding. I could not believe it. I was like, holy smokes, dude. Like from where I shot him to where he fell, you could have thrown a baseball 3 times as far.
No shit.
Yeah. I can't throw a football, and I could have thrown a football further.
I can't throw a football.
So I could have Patrick Mahomes.
Come on, Brady, you're better than that.
I am not.
Could have thrown a bowling ball over there.
So I walk up to him, man. I'm like, whoa, man, this thing's a stud. You know, like killer 2s, killer 3s. His right side's got a killer 4.
Really good beams.
Real good beams. Junk all over his bases. Good mass all the way through. I'm like, wow. This could be my biggest buck. I don't know. He's not real wide. He's 17 wide. I'm like, this could be my biggest deer. I don't know. So, call the wife, everything like that. And it's great because I could just drive up to him because he died on the path. It was real close to him, like 20 more yards, depths of hell.
Depths of hell. I remember you saying that. I'm like, I think he fell in the depths of hell.
I didn't know, but
Right.
it would have been like
Wyoming backcountry depth of hell or no?
Easy track job compared to that.
Okay.
Were you following a blood trail, or you just were looking, sneaking out?
Honestly, I was kind of just looking to see if I could see him like with glass embedded and back out because it's like woods and grass. Mm-hmm. It's hard to explain down in there.
Didn't want to bump him out of there.
I didn't want to bump because I had to go that way anyway. So I'm like, I have a little bit of light. I'll just play it like sneak around because it's like a path, like it's like farm equipment drives right
You're
there.
You're walking out, sneaking, but you're looking at the same time.
Yeah.
And you stumble on him.
I look over, he's laying right there. I'm like, oh shit, he didn't go. So I'm shooting the new assailants.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, shredded that buck through. Like it was insane. I wish I didn't hear him fall because it's just grass where he died. So anyway, go get the truck, basically just pull him right into it.
Drive right up to him.
I'm getting pretty good at getting hernias. It's kind of a pastime of mine now.
Yeah.
It's a hobby.
So,
how many have you had, Curt?
You know what? I'm complaining today about my shoulder. I'm like, man, I've been standing in those tree stands wrong.
Yeah, that must be it.
That's got to be it.
That's definitely it.
Not pulling a bucket and a frozen dough into the back of your truck like Tingus.
I didn't even put it together until now. I'm like, oh yeah, I've fucking pulled that dough in and this buck in and just being
What's your process? Get the front up, get up there, and then pull him in?
It's going to sound ridiculous. I back up as close as I can.
Right.
I reach down on my belly over the tailgate.
Yep.
Grab the rack.
Yep.
Then I kind of muster his head up.
Yep.
Then this is where I like to pop my intestines out of where they normally are.
Yep.
Sure.
This is where the hernia happens.
You know that spot. This is where the hernia happens.
For those of you listening, mark this down, write this down.
So then I heave, get the head up to the shoulder. Just and the legs quite aren't over the tailgate yet. Then this is where I get my second hernia. So I'm feeling great. Take note. So then I heave again, and then that's when his legs get stuck underneath my tailgate. And then my tailgate starts to come up with the buck, and I'm going,
and you're still pulling.
You fucking son of a bitch. That's why I'm doing this. Yeah, getting pissed. So a third hernia is setting in at this point.
So now you got the pissed off hernia.
Really mad, but I'm too far in and too many hernias in to let
go.
Yeah, we're stacking hernias at this point.
Because at this point, if I let go, I'm not going to get them back up. Because
and then you'll have 3 more.
Well, because then I'll die of internal bleeding.
Yeah.
So
you got to commit at that point.
I mean, at this point, unless you pop a lung out or you blow your rib cage out, you're going to be all right.
You're just in too deep.
Yeah, you're in too deep. Just keep going.
So what I do is I let up enough, get his leg to move, and then heave again. Once you get his other leg up, then it's just you heave your way in until he's in.
Then you black out and fall down in your bed of your truck.
Yeah. Then you hurt really bad for a while.
Then all of a sudden, Kurt's laying on the grass.
That's why it took so long to get pictures from him.
Yeah.
He was just
Honestly.
passed out.
He blacked out with his buck in the back of the truck.
I blacked out underneath the exhaust of my truck. It's just running, blowing on my face.
Just wake up to random like ringing in your ear.
We just find you dead. She's like, damn, Kurt's a nice. Oh shit, it's a nice
Died of
buck.
carbon monoxide poisoning outside.
Is he dead? I don't know, but look at this 160 he killed.
I think I'm gonna put my tag on that.
I got him in and I'm fine. I don't actually have a hernia, and that was a huge exaggeration. It's actually not. That's how I do get them in by myself. I've been doing that for a few years. I should probably just put a piece of plywood back there. I think it'd be a lot easier. but
Or just call a buddy.
No, because you'll get it caught on the plywood, and there'll just be another thing it's caught on.
Oh yeah, then you're
Yeah,
supposed to
I'll- I'll-
Plywood will fall off, then you'll catch it on the tailgate.
I have a hernia and a splinter.
And a oh god, I'd rather have the hernia.
Yeah.
Then he gets a paper cut from his tag.
So I get him
stab
in.
yourself gutting it.
Have sawdust in your gourmet burger from Old Barn.
Yeah, right. So I get him in, get him out of there, and of course I'm calling people and stuff like that, and I call the Lord Chandler, and I'm like, dude, this buck's nice, man, like way nicer than I thought. I knew he's nice, but he surprised me a bit. I was like, I haven't measured him yet, I don't know how big he is, and but he's good. And he's like, dude, I bet you he goes 160. He goes from the picture you sent. I'm like, I hope, I don't know. I have like this block, I can't judge my own deer, it's weird. So I get him home and I'm talking to him. He's like, hey, do you think that's that buck that you call Battle Axe? And I'm like, I don't know this deer from this year. I don't. So I go outside and I'm staring at him drinking beer, because why would I not be? I have him in the driveway, and I'm like, realize the shape of his typical frame, and I'm like, his ear. So I grab his ear.
That's crazy that you didn't notice it until this point.
Didn't even think about it.
But like you got all this shit running through your head, you're pumped. Like, I mean, I get it, but it's still crazy. You weren't like, oh, look at his ear.
The heat of the moment and like hernia pain just distracted me.
My internal bleeding.
Yeah, after blacking out and
pouring beer on top of it.
Yeah, the 14 ulcers that I poured beer on top of.
I had exhaust poisoning and I drank 14 beers.
And then I black out.
I had to clear it out.
Hell of a hangover the next day.
Oh, terrible.
So I grab his ear and I'm like, holy smokes, it is him. It's Battle Axe. Like, and just going back and looking at pictures, I'm like, yeah, like same frame. Same characteristics, same exact. Of course, it's him. Big old mature buck. So I know him to be 6.5. I would, from my best guessing, because in 2019 I 4.5. Last year 5.5. This year 6.5. I had Julian look at the teeth. And he was saying, he's like, man, he goes, I look at a lot of deer. He goes, I don't think this deer is younger than 7.5. He's like, he was breaking down, how he judges them and stuff. And I'm like, man, we should have grabbed the front teeth from the lower jaw, not thinking about it at the time. Right. And, but he's like, dude, he goes, I'd call this buck 7.5. He goes, I'd say 6.5 for certain, no younger from what I know about him.
Nothing better than them old bucks.
Just big old blocky head on him, man. So it's funny.
It's a stud.
Yeah, his left at base, he has a bunch of junk. So he's got a couple kickers. He's got a little over 3-inch kicker that goes straight off the back base. And then when I was looking at him in the dark, because when I recovered him, it was dark, and then I started boozing. I'm looking at this point off his burr that looked like it was just like a mass.
So it's
like a chunk of shit.
Yeah, just a little chunk of antler
shit
off his mass. So once we got him caped out and
antler turd
and capped and all that stuff, and I grab him and I look at him, I'm like, it's that mass had a point under it, and it like curves around like hard to I guess it's hard to explain.
Like back in the skull almost.
It like curves around and loops under, and then shoots towards the front of his head.
If you took your pointer finger and like wrapped it around, but then you curve it out.
It's like a witch finger.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's
we're looking at it today, and I'm like, dude, that's gonna count. Like,
yeah, it's like
100%.
a little witch finger. So what I did was, if you guys go back for episode 470, we did that with Bucky. He's like the Boone and Crockett, the Pope and Young connoisseur measurer. Like, if there was a question about measuring, I'm a measurer, but I've never measured a point like that. I've never had to measure a point like that, and I've been a measurer for 11 years. And so I FaceTime Bucky. I'm like, hey, would you count this? Like, I missed it. I didn't realize it. It was buried in his hair. I didn't even think to try and dig for it. Honestly, I didn't care.
Right.
Like I was like, check this out. Look at this. I'm like on cloud 9. I just didn't really. I'm like, his base is cool. I don't know. So once that, I'm like, what I measure? He's like, yeah, measure that thing. So we measured it. Clint held the phone and like pulled out the tape and measured him. It was 3 5/8 long. Oof. And I'm like, is that right? Like it doesn't appear. He goes, yeah. He goes, that's how I'd measure it. He goes, I'd put it in the book. He goes, that meets definition for a point. He goes, it's longer than an inch, and he grew it. And I'm like, well, that's true.
It's a valid point.
So I measured him at 163 and some change, and then add 3 5/8. He's 166 6/8.
Ooh-wee.
Nice.
Hot damn.
Doug,
God damn.
you guessed correctly. The mustache wins.
Right on the dot.
You said 166.
Boys.
Dot.
Oh, yeah. Damn right I did. Because I know my shit. I want to. Mustache is staying, goddamn.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Hey,
No, I'm not sorry.
Kurt, we don't have to burn it off now.
Yeah.
Saved. Safe. Safe.
Save till next year.
So 166 and 6/8.
God damn, man.
I honestly,
Congrats.
thank you, man. When I look at this buck, I see 160,
Yeah.
but
All day.
I don't see 166 and 6/8. But
You literally don't because it was hidden.
no, I didn't.
That's a good point.
I saw
Very
Good
good
call.
point.
Good call.
I saw 163 and some change. But you think he's like 158, 159 without any of the extras, and then you throw on those extra points off the base, and that's where he's at.
Fucking A, Billy Ray.
So I'm stoked, man.
Oh, great buck. Beautiful buck.
Yep.
So I got to ask you, first year, all right, you're like me. First phone call is always dad. Mm-hmm. What's going through your mind? You shoot this buck.
Yeah.
Where are you at with that? Because I mean that's a big moment. This is the first whitetail you've killed.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And I mean he was your Papa Dave's your partner.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean
buddy.
what
it was.
was it like? Did you have like almost a relief? Like okay, I got my first one without dad here under my belt, or was it?
Yeah.
Like because it has to be in your head a little bit. Like
100% it is. Yeah, dude.
You know,
It's,
like, that's my first call. That's your first. I mean, that's you know.
So what I did, the mule deer hunt, I wrote my dad's name on that arrow.
Right.
And then we never recovered that arrow because I think it's disintegrated on that mountain
Yeah,
when
it
my buck
is.
fell 1,000 feet.
Yeah, it is.
But that's cool. Leave the
Carbon is shattered in 80 million pieces.
Yeah, but that's fine. I did its job.
Yeah.
So I got another arrow out.
Right,
Wrote
right.
Papa Dave and wrote Dad
Well,
on every other.
Your guys'
fletching.
thing was whitetails. I mean, like
100%,
so, like
yeah,
like
yeah.
the mule deer was your first like
Buck.
buck, but like whitetails was your guys' game.
That was
So,
like more of a mental, physical.
Emotional.
Yeah,
Everything.
physical, emotional, like I don't really know what to call that. Like just like a, I don't know what to put on it, honestly. Like just a big test in general.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This was so I did the same thing with another arrow. Shot
Right.
that doe with
Right.
my dad arrow.
Yep.
And then I honestly put another broadhead on it, left it bloody.
Yep.
And had it knocked for this buck. Sent it right through him.
Yep.
And then
So at that moment right there, it's got to be like immediate reaction's got to be like, God dang, I wish I could call. I mean, like,
yeah, I'll be honest. The first thing I did after I shot him, I just said, "We got him, Dad."
Yep.
Like
Yep, that's cool.
Honestly, I
awesome.
just talked to my
That's
dad.
awesome.
I was
Yeah.
like, "We got him,
That's
Dad."
awesome, man.
So
Yeah.
so I just talked to him.
Yeah.
Honestly,
No, that's awesome.
and it's not that I'm like looking up.
Oh yeah, right. But,
You know.
but just in your mind, yeah. No, that's cool, dude. That's cool.
So no, dude, it was stoked. Like
Yeah,
I was
that's
just
cool.
stoked about it, and I talked to my dad and shit. It's hard.
oh yeah,
It sucks.
gotta be.
big
Yeah.
time. But
that's real though. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
I mean, especially the first one that you're not calling him. I mean, like,
yeah.
And it's your biggest one, too.
yeah,
Yep.
dude, it sucks. It sucks, man. It really does. Like
Yep.
it gets me choked up, but
that's cool, man.
I'm just stoked about it, man. It just worked out great.
Great buck.
It's like my dad's like looking out for me. He's like, "Hey,
Oh yeah, dude,
know?
you're having a banner year.
yeah, I am. I really
Fuck.
am. Mm-hmm. And I've been busting my fucking ass too, to get it done. And
Yep.
I always have, or I think I have anyway. Other people might be like, that ain't shit, but that's fine. But it's I think lately with like signing with juries and partnering with and just kind of like the growth of it, I think people think that we have like this manicured ground that's just like money and it's in the hole, and they don't realize that it's like, yeah, nothing ground wise has changed for us.
No.
like
No,
Yeah, we're not getting property.
juries didn't invite us to come hunt all their farms.
no.
Not yet.
But well, yep, good call, Doug. Not yet.
I'm in Iowa. I'm just saying.
Text Taylor tomorrow and be
Call
like,
me.
hey, can we hunt Iowa this week?
That mustache got any predictions?
Yeah. What do you got?
I'll give you guys predictions.
That's all I got.
Let me hunt it.
That's all you're offering. I got a crystal ball. We got DeerCast.
I got a crystal. I got a crystal.
DeerCast, you fucking idiot.
I got a crystal ball on my upper lip. What's up?
Yeah. What do I need that for when I got Doug's mustache?
Yeah. So
Free 99.
but that being said, it's just like, I did a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
Paid off.
Paid off.
I just care. It's all I care about, really.
It's crazy they just showed up out of nowhere, too.
Yeah, and I put that together. And I'm like, how do I not have one photo
picture
of this? Not one. And maybe I do, and I don't know it. And I've
like
checked cameras.
Back or something.
I don't.
See, originally I was thinking this buck was one of the bucks you had sent photos of in the summer, and then I
That's what
went
I thought,
back
too.
and
No,
I'm
it's
like,
not.
no, it's not. And I keep thinking that, and I keep forgetting that. I kept thinking it's the same. It's one of the same ones. I'm like, it's not.
Because I talked to my buddy that I hunt with, and I'm like, man, I don't. Because I didn't know it. When I was talking to him, I'm like, I don't have any pictures of this buck, and I'm like, I'm certain. Well, if I wouldn't have been for his ear, I'd have been like, could be the same deer, right? Because the ear, I'm like, it's the same deer,
yeah,
100%. It's the same cut and everything, and it's not just like a slit. It's part of his ear is missing. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't have any pictures, and I was looking back through texts that we had exchanged through different trail cam photos and stuff, and I'm like, no. So then I asked the guy who hunts the neighboring ground. I'm like, hey, do you have any pictures of this buck? And he's like, no, I don't think so. He goes, I'll go back and look.
That's crazy to show up.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, he was all over the place, so he's just traveling around.
Yeah.
I don't know where he was spending his time. Someone somewhere has pictures of him. I would be
for sure.
of it. I would think maybe that same person has his sheds. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, someone somewhere's very upset right now.
Yeah.
Hell, I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe he's just an old goat and he crossed that line and, he had his little brush pile. He stayed in and walked and got a drink and went and laid back down. That's how they get sometimes.
I mean, very possible. Very possible. I mean, why would it not be? You don't have to. I mean, where I have my trail cams, I'm not like, you know what I mean, breaking any new ground.
Yeah.
I'm like where I have them in obvious places and stuff like that, but I'm not tromping around in stupid spots.
You're not going 20 yards down into a thicket that's head high and hey, this is a good spot for
I'm not doing that because the reality of it is I'll never check those cameras.
No.
I'll never go in there. I'll never want to go in them.
Blow everything out going in and going out and
So this year I tried to make all my cameras that were non-cellular accessible off my bike.
That's a good strategy
because you just float in.
Well, it's convenient.
And you're gone.
Fast
Float out.
fuck, boy.
That's as fuck, boy.
Fast as fuck.
So no pictures of this year. Maybe
it's pretty cool though that he did end up with that ear, and then you had past history with him.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, I talked to Julian and Sam at Old Barn. I'm like, man, can we do that mount with his ear like that? They're like, yeah,
if you have to,
definitely.
You guys holding hands?
He put a note on it, and I was talking to him about the ear. He's like, modify ear. We didn't mess it up.
You get it back. Why'd you lob his ear off?
What the fuck's with the ear?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You put this in a blender?
I was trimming his hair.
What kind of business you running here?
Yeah. So that's the legacy of Old Battle Axe, man.
That's awesome.
That's
Congrats.
awesome.
This makes the second, the baby dropper I killed last year. I kind of had a story with him, but only from that year. So this makes like him and Creepy are like right up in there with like same length and history of stories.
Yeah.
Creepy, I had more like, more length of in-person encounters with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just about him almost running me over and me thinking something was wrong
being
with him.
a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, just being creepy, like stop it, dude. What are you doing?
Get the fuck out of here.
But no, I mean,
Cut out, lady. You're scaring us.
it's funny. It's like someone's like, man, is that your biggest deer? And for some reason, I'm like, yeah, he's my biggest deer, or he's my highest scoring deer. What does that even mean? I have another buck that takes up more airspace than him, but he just does not score higher than him. This buck's much more impressive on a score sheet. I can read off some of the score sheet if you guys would like.
Yeah.
And this is when I say his score. Right here, and Bucky just sent me the definition of that point off his burr point in the handbook, so I know I'm not stupid. I mean, I could be.
Hey, that's not
If
good.
Bucky says count it, you count it.
Yeah, I'm gonna count him. So he's 17 inside, He has 3 tines over 11 inches. One's almost 12. His right antler went 75 6/8. And he has... I'm redoing math because I fucked up the score because I didn't know about that other...
With your mechanical pencil?
Don't make fun of it. So he has...
Third grade?
Yeah, this is hard. So what I had him at originally... Well, what's funny about it is I added him up, I measured him, and then I got drunk. Then I did my math. Then I messaged the crew, and I was like, he's 162 and something, something. Then the next day I get up.
And you're like, I'm an idiot.
I'm re-adding up my score sheet, and I'm like, oh, he grew. He's
grew overnight.
He's 163 and an eighth.
So just have Curt measure it when he's drunk, and you'll feel way better about yourself the next morning.
Well, then have Clint come into town, and he'll grow 3 more inches.
Right.
Well, it's funny. It's just a math error.
You'd come in more often.
And then and then I'm looking at him today, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. He's got that weird witch finger point off his burr. And Clint's like, dude, I'd measure that. He might be a little bigger. And I'm like, you think? And I don't know. Like, and you said the same thing. Like, yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna FaceTime Bucky. So then I measure him, and then he comes out, another 3 5/8 inches, 166 and 6/8. So then I message the group, and I'm like, you guys aren't gonna believe this.
I'm an idiot.
I messed up again.
So then my buddy Todd comes in. He came in tonight while we're podcasting. I'm like, I fucked up my buck score again.
He's
like, you're the only motherfucker that shoots a deer, and then over the span of 6 days, it gets 3 inches bigger. Right. And I'm like, look at this. And he's like, oh shit, we didn't see that before. I just didn't dig for it.
It's buried.
It was in his hair.
He had beautiful hair.
I guess if you would have got your finger underneath it, you would have felt it, but
right.
I don't know. Pretty cool. Anyway,
yeah.
See, Scotty, sometimes you just got to get your finger under stuff and feel for it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Just one, though.
Digging.
On the back porch.
You just got to dig for it.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Just got to feel around.
So I heard. So there he is. That's the story of Battle Axe.
Hell yeah. Congrats, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Thanks,
a
man.
Monster.
Appreciates it. Appreciates it. Appreciates you.
Air.
Everyone's like, God damn, that's fucking
They're
noise.
probably
Literally
tired of
every
that.
comment's going to be awesome episode. Take the fucking button out.
You got any more buttons?
Murder
over
that
there,
soundboard.
Oh, yeah, he's got all kinds of cool stuff. Do the clap one.
It's loud.
That one sounds like gentle rain to me when I'm like listening at work.
Gentle rain.
Just gentle
Yeah.
rain when it's at that
It
level.
does sound.
On a tin roof.
That does sound like rain.
Could be a new R&B artist.
I don't
Gentle
know.
rain.
All that clapping.
Gentle rain.
Trying to think what
Gentle
that means.
butter.
The laugh track. We got this. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we do.
It is.
We're idiots.
Thanks for listening to my story, guys.
Good times. Good times.
Great buck.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
Great story.
Shoot another one, would
Time to
you?
go kill
Yeah.
another one.
Hey, predictions. Do we get more predictions?
Come on, Stash.
You
Come on.
predict 2 of
Come
your
on,
bucks?
come on. I got three tags left. Come on, big guy. What do you got?
You just blow it.
How many tags you got?
3,
Mustache
2 bucks and a
just
bull.
No, you only get one prediction, bud.
Wow, hit me with the bud.
I done cashed in on my prediction.
2
so-
Ds.
Hit me with
Yeah.
the old
I'm not
2Ds.
just handing them out
Not to be
everywhere.
confused with Judd.
Hey, you got something to lose now.
No,
All right.
I ain't got, no, that counts. We're done. Like mustache stays.
Okay, it does stay.
All right, when do I kill my whitetail? Prediction.
But when are you actually gonna be hunting whitetails?
Well, from now till the 13th of November, then I leave and go to Utah.
Easy. November 8th.
God, that's a good prediction too.
I thought he was going to say your
Not bad.
birthday.
No,
That's
he
me.
remember he's gonna kill on my
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
birthday.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then send me a picture. Happy birthday! Look at my book.
I'm gonna do it so it gets more likes than any other happy birthday on
Scotty,
your page.
congrats on your buck too.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah, congrats, Scotty.
Hell
thank you.
yeah, Scotty.
That'll be another
I was gonna say.
episode.
I'll say we'll have to do an episode.
Yeah.
You'll have
yeah.
to talk more on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just kind of sitting here drinking. It's all right, though.
Well, we were just
That's what you
kinda-
did at.
Yeah.
We were rubbing
Me and
kneecaps.
Clint were having a moment.
Yeah, we were just hanging out.
It was awkward from
That
over
true?
here.
Don't blame you. I'd have a moment with him.
You just got to look away, Judd.
It's the eyes he makes at you when everybody else is talking. He's over here with the.
I know we got to talk about that. It's distracting. It's like he quit fucking. What are you, a 5th grader?
You thought getting
Yes.
yelled at by
You
him
quit
was
eye
something.
fucking me.
He was over here playing with my toes earlier.
Oh god, damn, it's play with everybody.
Jesus.
There's a tape freaking Clint down to the table so he can't
Put him in a fucking straight jacket.
Personally, I liked it.
You did like it.
Yeah.
It's time to get out of this podcast and move on with our lives and get hunting.
Hell yeah.
Best is yet to come.
Best is yet to come.
Great
right now.
weekend coming up.
When this launches, you better be out there. Get after it. It's going to get good. Watch your DeerCast app.
Let's do it.
We have a promo code if you are not a DeerCast user. We have the link in the episode description. I think it's WCB21, DeerCast.com at checkout for first-time users only. So
boom,
get in there. Try it out.
Yeah.
I think you'll like it. And Working Class on DeerCast is there. All right. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And don't think I'm a huge idiot. Go shoot your bow. We love you.